Greetings. This is Sergeant Major Rich Perez, United States Army Reserve Command, Inspector General Sergeant Major, and this is Know Your Task. I'm going to demonstrate 5 ESB tasks: maintain, conduct functions check, load and unload, and correct malfunctions on an M4 series carbine. The point of this is to get after training and building cohesive squads. If we are getting after it, you should too. This is a fundamental way of mastering our basic soldier skills and preparing to succeed in your unit mission essential tasks as well. The Army Reserve has a goal to implement the Expert Soldier's Badge in FY22, an effort to operationalize This Is My Squad. We are encouraging our squad leaders to take ownership of their squads by conducting training on drill weekends and then enter into the system of record through the Small Unit Leaders Tool application in the Army Training Network.
Task 1. Maintain an M4 series carbine. Clear the weapon. Point weapon in a safe direction. Attempt to place the selector lever on safe. If the weapon is not cocked, the lever can't be pointed towards safe. Remove the magazine from the weapon if present. Lock the bolt open by pulling the charging handle rearward, pressing the bottom of the bolt catch, move the bolt forward until it engages the bolt catch, return the charging handle to the forward position, ensure the receiver and chamber are free of ammo. Disassemble the weapon. Push the takedown pin as far as it will go. Pivot the upper receiver from the lower receiver. Pull back the charging handle. Remove the bolt carrier and bolt. Remove the charging handle. Disassemble the bolt carrier by removing the firing pin retaining pin. Push in bolt assembly to the locked position. Drop firing pin out of rear bolt carrier. Remove the bolt cam pin by turning it 1/4 of a turn and lifting it out. Remove bolt assembly from carrier. Press the rear of the extractor pin to check spring function. Remove the extractor pin by pushing it out with the firing pin. Lift out the extractor and spring. Take care that the spring does not separate from the extractor. Remove buffer and buffer spring from buttstock. Press and buffer to press retainer and release buffer. Remove buffer and action spring. At this time, clean the weapon, clean the bore, clean the upper receiver group, the bolt carrier group, the lower receiver group, and inspect the weapon for serviceability. Lubricate the weapon, and then assemble the weapon. Assemble the bolt carrier by inserting the extractor and spring, push in the extractor pin. Slide the bolt into the carrier. Replace the bolt cam pin. Drop in and seat the firing pin. Pull the bolt back, replace the retaining pin. Engage and then push the charging handle in part of the way. Slide in the bolt carrier assembly. Push in the charging handle and the bolt carrier group together. Insert the action spring and buffer. Install the buttstock assembly. Align the buttstock assembly with the lower receiver extension. Pull downward on the lock release lever near the retaining pin. Slide the buttstock assembly into the lower receiver extension. Join the upper and lower receivers. Engage the receiver pivot pin. Close the upper and lower receiver groups. Push in the takedown pin. Task 2. Perform a functions check on an M4 series carbine. Confirm the M4 is clear. Conduct a functions check on the M4 by placing the selector lever on safe. Pull the charging handle to the rear and release. Pull the trigger. The hammer should not fall. Place selector lever on semi. Pull the trigger. The hammer should fall. Hold the trigger to the rear and charge the weapon. Release the trigger with a slow, smooth motion until the trigger is fully forward. An audible click should be heard. Pull the trigger and the hammer should fall. Place the selector switch on auto for an M4A1 only. Pull the charging handle to the rear, charging the weapon. Squeeze the trigger and the hammer should fall. Hold the trigger to the rear, cock the weapon again, and fully release the trigger and then squeeze it again. The hammer should not fall because it should have fallen when the bolt was allowed to move forward during the chambering and locking sequences. For the M4 only, place the selector lever on burst. Charge the weapon one time. Squeeze the trigger. The hammer should fall. Hold trigger to the rear. Charge the weapon 3 times. Release the trigger. Squeeze the trigger, and the hammer should fall. Once you're done, place the weapon back on safe. Task 3. Correct malfunctions of an M4 series carbine. To perform immediate action, remove trigger finger from the trigger and ensure it's straight and pressed along the frame. Forcefully tap upward onto the base plate of the magazine with the heel of the non-firing hand. Grasp the charging handle and rapidly retract it fully to the rear and release. Reacquire your target and press the trigger. Continue the engagement if the weapon fires. Perform remedial action if the weapon does not fire. Perform remedial action. Quickly move to a covered position and announce your weapon status to the element. Observe the weapon to identify the cause of the malfunction. To correct an obstructed chamber, attempt to place the weapon on safe. Remove the magazine. Lock the charging handle to the rear. Place the selector lever on safe, if not already done. Visually inspect the chamber. Ensure chamber is empty. Ensure the breech face is clear of live or expended cartridges, foreign debris, and has no physical damage. If obstructions are present, remove them from the chamber by angling the ejection port downward and shaking the rifle to remove cartridge, or using a cleaning rod to push out cartridge case stuck in the chamber. Danger! Do not attempt to remove a round stuck in the barrel of a weapon. Evacuate the weapon to maintainer when a tactical situation permits. Insert a new loaded magazine. Press bolt catch to release the bolt and visually observe the round entering the chamber. Reacquire your target. Press the trigger. Continue the engagement if the weapon fires. If weapon fails to fire, evacuate weapon to maintainer when tactical situation permits. Task 4. Load an M4 series carbine. Keep the weapon pointed in a safe direction. Ensure the chamber is clear by pulling the charging handle to the rear and checking the chamber to ensure it's clear. Return the charging handle to the forward position. Place weapon on safe. Lock the bolt to the rear. By pulling the charging handle rearward, press and hold the bottom of the bolt catch. Allow the bolt to move forward until it engages the bolt catch. Release the bottom of the bolt catch and return the charging handle to the forward position. Insert your magazine. Push the magazine upwards until the magazine catch engages. Tap upward on the bottom of the magazine to ensure the magazine is seated. Chamber around. The weapon is now loaded. Task 5. Unload an M4 series carbine. Point the weapon muzzle in a safe direction. Place the selector lever on safe. Remove the magazine. Press the magazine catch button and pull down the magazine to remove. Lock the bolt open by pulling the charging handle to the rear, pressing the bottom portion of the bolt catch. Allow the bolt to move forward until it engages the bolt catch. Return the charging handle to the full forward position. Place the selector lever on safe. Ensure that no ammunition is in the receiver and chamber. Return the bolt to the closed position. Press the upper portion of the bolt catch, allowing the bolt to go forward. Place selector lever on semi. Pull the trigger to release the pressure of the firing pin spring. Close the ejection port cover.
All leaders should be deeply involved in ensuring your soldiers can conduct regular, in-depth training in accordance with current training and evaluation outlines. Individual warrior tasks are perishable skills, and we all need to work together to ensure our troops receive the proper training they require and understand the standard. Speaking of standards, if you're aware of any violations of standards or regulations, I encourage you to report it through your local chain of command prior to seeking IG support. One of our core functions in IG is teaching and training. Together, we can build cohesive and inclusive teams. NCOs, embrace your skill craft. Ready now, shaping tomorrow.